participation in IAR assessments is also an important input into Illinois' school report card ratings. Partial participation decreases our school's ratings on Illinois' report card. These are the same report cards that families look at when choosing whether to buy a home in Lake Forest or some other community. I'm excited to report that participation in IAR testing across District 67 was high, overall at 94% participation. Two of our schools, Sheridan and Cherokee Elementary, should be commended for having 100% participation this year. I want to thank the teachers, parents, and most importantly, the District 67 students for your focus and prioritization of IAR testing. While I don't think there are many students who say that testing is their favorite part of school, it's a very important input into making our schools the best that they can be. So with that, I'm excited to turn to our first agenda topic and invite our friends from Cherokee Elementary to share with us some of the exciting things that they've been working on. Chad?
Good evening, Board of Education members. Dr. Montgomery, thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm going to be very brief. Thank you, because I really am looking forward, as you are, to the opportunity of our students telling you about their exciting work. The student leadership team, there's just two items that I wanted to bring to the board's attention in regards to this organization. Number one, this really is the organization that connects the entire school together. So when we talk about buddy reading or we talk about Spirit Week, kind of goes through there. But it's also an organization that connects us out into the greater community and out the door with our learning. And I cannot commend our students enough in terms of just the altruistic mindset that they had this year of coming to this leadership team and wanting to bring help into a world that really needs help these days. So without further ado, I'm going to call up our moderators, two wonderful D67 employees. We've got Mrs. Medema and Mrs. Takara Billings.
Thank you so much for having us tonight. I'm Michelle Medema.
I'm Takara Billings.
And like Dr. Prosen said, we co-facilitate our student leadership team here, and they are here tonight to really highlight the positive work that they've been doing not only at Cherokee, but out in the community. And I'm gonna turn it over to them.
Here are our fourth grade SLT members: Abby White, Bradley Shawns, Sophia Pisek, Brooke Nero, Quinn Jeffers, and Ella Pateros.
Here are third grade SLT members: Mary Culver, Jack Feeney, Wayne Thoman, Mila Aziz, and Ryan McCarney, Salone McClellan.
Communications and KT representatives: Rafi Mason, Sutton Hara, Marley Moore, Liam Hosserman, Sophia Beverly, Sophie Lambropoulos, Alex Hara, Olivia Winfield, Evie Pelletier, Sophie Berger, and Evie Bass.
Julia Lenz, Molly Window, and Gracie Johnson.
How do you get on the SLT team? You have to fill out an application, then write a speech.
You have to give the speech in front of a class, and the class voted. There are so many candidates this year that we opened 2 subcommittees.
How did we decide on our spirit days? How did we finalize? And how did we communicate with our school committee? K2 reps and SLT reps collected ideas from their classmates. A Google form from the top 5 was created and sent to classes, and then the classes voted, and the communications committee created the posters. Our Spirit Week included Crazy Hair Day, Sports Day, Green Day, Fancy Day, and Luau Day. We also pledged to Gigi's Playhouse.
Ronald McDonald House Charities. Ronald McDonald Charities collect pop tabs to turn it into money. The money is used for the Ronald McDonald houses where families stay when their children are sick.
We created a presentation and presented to the entire school. Our school goal is 10 pounds by May 27th. If we achieve our goal, we have a school-wide celebration.
Here are some upcoming events. Feed My Starving Children Cherokee Nights. Here are the dates. Tuesday, May 19th and Monday, May 23rd.
Penny challenges. Each grade will be competing to see who brings in the most change. Pennies and dollars are positive amounts. Silver coins are subtract. We are collecting change to purchase fun supplies for children in the hospital.
Kindness letters and pictures. Classes will write letters and draw pictures for community service workers, hospitals, and nursing homes.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much for taking the time to attend tonight and to provide us this wonderful spotlight. We are excited to get our next update the next time we invite Cherokee here, but before we move to our next agenda topic, do you guys mind coming forward to take a picture with the board?
Guys, leave your iPads. Yeah, leave your iPads. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. I love the way we structure our agenda, that Matt has to follow that. So Matt, we will now turn it over to you for the superintendent's report. You guys are welcome to stay, but you're also welcome to go home for the evening if you'd like. Thank you.
This happens in both meetings, whether it's 67 or 115. In 115, I have to follow Aaron Leonard, which is always a difficult act to follow, and student presenters. And now that we're doing these student recognitions in 67, I have the same challenge of trying to be somewhat entertaining after we get to see all the wonderful things that are happening and highlighting our kids. So I want to talk on a couple items tonight, and the topics are, I'm going to start sharing out. Periodically, I promise you I will not turn in or go into professor mode, but at times when I'm out in learning across the nation with different groups, it would be my honor to share some of those findings with you, especially if something really resonates with me. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some
very complex, and I look forward to going to each and every meeting, and I hope that anybody who wanted to experience the process or was able to is enjoying it as much as I am.
Thank you. Thank you, my friend, for being here. It meant the world to me. And just so the board knows, this young lady also sat on a couple advisory meetings that I was asking about how the experience of a DPN student, like what's going well. Many of the questions I asked in the staff questions, what's going well, what can we improve upon? She was one of several peers who, with her peers who helped advise me on how we can grow as leaders to support our students. So thank you, and let's give her one more round of applause.
Thank you.
On the next Let's Talk event that's happening, we are working on improving and doing a revamp of our food service in 67. Hope that many of the community participated in the food service survey that was done, and that's a partnership with us as well as Quest to continue to examine how to move forward and how to continue to improve what we're able to offer our students. We are hosting an event on Tuesday, May 3rd at the DPM Cube, which we're calling Let's Talk and Eat. There will be food samplings from Quest as we continue this dialogue about how to move forward. I want to thank Lisa Olson, who is the APT Food Service Liaison. She has been paramount. She will actually be co-hosting the program with me, so that'll be an elevation because she's going to be far more amazing than I will be. And I hope that you consider joining us and continuing the discussion to talk with the district and offer feedback, as well as Quest, to see where we can move forward for the subsequent school years. Number 4, I wanted to talk about the upcoming Teacher and Staff Appreciation Week. May 2nd marks the start of the Appreciation Week. The district, as well as APT, will be celebrating our educators and with treats and surprises throughout the week. And as a district parent myself, I hope you will join me in thanking the dedicated staff members that support our children in this district. I will finish with one more thank you, and I will not steal Rich's thunder, but I just want to express my own personal gratitude for the Spirit and their grant day that was April 20th, but I will let Rich talk more about that in his report. But just as superintendent, I have thankfully been blessed with working with numerous foundations in my time. These 2 districts far exceed anything I've ever experienced, and we are so fortunate to have them as a partner to continue to add that extra layer for educational opportunities and experiences for our students. That concludes my superintendent report tonight. Oh, actually, it does conclude it, but here are some wonderful pictures from Grant Day. So I'll leave those up as we continue.
So maybe you're stealing a little bit of thunder, Matt. Yeah. Thank you, Matt. Are there any questions from board members for Matt on the superintendent report? Seeing none, we'll move to our first of 2 opportunities for public participation this evening. Is a quick reminder, this first opportunity for public comment will be limited to comments about action items or items on this meeting's agenda. The second opportunity for public comment is for comments about any item that folks would like to raise in front of the board. I would like to reiterate a couple of guidelines for public participation subject to Board Policy 2-230. As a quick refresher, we welcome folks coming and sharing and expressing comments to the board. Please, when you come after being recognized, please state your name before addressing the board. Everybody will be given a maximum of 3 minutes to provide comment. We'll ask anyone to not speak a second time until everyone here has had an opportunity to speak for the first time. To provide an accurate response, please, any detailed questions posed to the board will be listened to and taken under advisement. And as a quick refresher, Everyone is always welcome to meet with school officials to receive information, discuss ideas, or express concerns. And if anyone has any letters or written materials, they can be submitted to the board clerk for public record. This evening, Mary Beth will be timing public participation and will advise when you have reached your 3 minutes. So at this time, are there any members of the public who'd like to address the board about items on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move to reports. We'll begin with Jeff, Dr. McHugh, for an update on the curriculum. Jeff?
Good evening. I'm here tonight to talk about 2 different curricular areas. One of them, I'm going to be bringing a recommendation for adoption, and the other one is a sneak preview of the May board meeting. Just as a refresher, the curriculum review cycle for every content area in our district follows these 4 phases. In the 2 areas tonight, Latin and 6-8 math, we're in phase 2, which is the development phase where we're looking at resources and we're ready to make adjustments to our current curricula. So let's start with Latin. We have Latin at Deer Path for grades 5 through 8. We have 2 Latin teachers who are using a curriculum called Ecce Romani. And what I quickly learned is there are not a lot of Latin resources out there, but the high school brought to me and to the Deer Path Latin teachers, they brought to us their desire to move to a curriculum called Subarani. And Subarani is very culture-based in terms of the textbook, very story-based, very different than Ecce Romani, which is more grammar-based. So the high school also uses Ecce. Their desire to change, though, hinged, they felt, on Deer Path's desire to make that change. Because students at Deer Path who complete Latin go into high school into Latin 2. And according to the experts, the Latin teachers, to start in Ecce Romani and then to fold into Subarani was very difficult. So the high school said, would you be interested in looking at Subarani? And I worked with Rachel Abel, who is the instructional director for world language, the 2 Latin teachers at the high school, and we brought that to the Deer Path Latin teachers, who said, we'll give it a look. So they looked at the resources. We talked to another middle school Latin teacher in the area about her experiences with it. And after a lot of conversation, we decided we think this would be a great fit for the students at Deer Path. So then it came down to, when do we make the switch and what will it look like? And the plan is for 5th grade Latin to use many of the same resources they're using right now and look at grades 6, 7, and 8 at covering textbook 1 of Subarani, meaning when they go to the high school, they'll be ready for Latin 2. However, our 8th graders next year will not have had that experience, so we would keep them in Ecce next year, and we would have next year's 6th and 7th graders at Deer Path move to Subarani, no changes at the high school. The following year, should the high school choose to adopt Subarani, then we would be completely in, where we would be using it at Deer Path in grades 6 through 8, and they would be using it at the high school. This seemed like a win-win-win all around. The teachers, the administrators, everybody felt like this was a good move. From a cost standpoint, I was able to work it into this year's budget, so should you choose to vote to approve it tonight, I can purchase it out of some funds from this year, meaning we could get the textbooks this summer. The teachers will need some time to plan and prepare for next year. And the cost is nominal. It's about $4,000 because we're talking textbooks that will stay in the classroom, approximately 60 textbooks, but a nice, robust digital option too. So it is fairly cost prohibitive in terms of an ask, but this is something that I'll be recommending for your vote tonight. Before I move into math, I'm going to pause here to see if you have any questions about Latin.
I just have one clarification. You said, should the high school choose to adopt it? Is that something that they have on schedule for their next meeting? Is that going to, I would assume that's happening pretty soon.
They needed to wait for us, but now that this is going to be happening and seeing how this is where it came from, we'll want to go through the process with the high school as well, but that will be their strong recommendation. And with Deer Path coming through with that, I feel like it's the natural fit for there.
Does the Super-Only also cover grammar too, or are they supposed to already have that by the time they start the reading course?
That's a great question, Rich. Grammar will be built in. It doesn't seem to be as much of the focus with Super-Only, but students will still have that experience. In fact, one of the questions at Ed Committee that came up is this going to be a positive for our students? Our students are doing well right now. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And is this fixing something that ain't broke? And in consultation with the Latin teachers of both the middle school and the high school, not only do they feel like it's fixing it, it's going to give them an even more robust Latin experience. Any other questions about Latin? I've learned far more about Latin than I ever knew before going into this experience. This next item is not going to be an action item today, but I anticipate it will be at the May 24th board meeting. It is the Math 6-8 math resource. So I believe that I've been letting you know throughout the course of the year that in the 5-year cycle, Math 6-8 is up for review. We did K-8 several years ago. Now we're at Math 6-8, and currently we have a program called Connected Math Project, CMP, that we're using for Math 6, 7, and 8. So this has been a very interesting process in that when we looked at our data, we felt that our student outcomes aren't where we want them to be. And in talking to the teachers back in the fall, we said, well, what is it about this resource that might not be working? And several of the pieces that stood out is when CMP was adopted, it was brand new. There wasn't a lot of data on it. There weren't ed reports out on it. At the time, it seemed like a great option. It lacks a strong digital platform. In fact, teachers for the past couple years in this role, I was hearing from the teachers, there's not much digitally with our current curriculum. And when teachers do need either support or professional learning, there's virtually none with CMP. Those are issues that I look at as being partially because it's a bit dated. We adopted it back. It predates me in this role. I want to say maybe 2014-ish or so. So it's older. And anything new coming out, technology obviously has come a long way, and a digital platform is a must. There were a number of other things teachers felt. Supports for struggling students. What about English language learners? What are the supports in there for that? So teachers created a list. We looked at everything, and I mean everything that's out there. And by we, I mean primarily the initial phase was done by myself and Becky Saxena, the district math coach. And we talked to surrounding districts, what are people using, and we narrowed the field to 9. We got those 9 resources. We sat for a day in the back of the cube, and we went through all of them. And from there, we were able to narrow it to 4, which we brought to the math department. And out of those 4, we narrowed it to these 2. One of them is called Illustrative Math, and the other one is called, I kid you not, CPM. So CMP is our current math program, and the other one we're looking at is called CPM. Lake Bluff, incidentally, uses CPM. Avoca uses CPM. Illustrative is very new. And one of my questions about illustrative is, are we running into the same issue of when we adopted CMP? Is it so new that we don't have the data on it? Illustrative is about 2019 it came out. It started out on the East Coast. It is the single highest rated curriculum in the history of Ed Reports. It scored perfect in every single area on there. And we also looked at Massachusetts has a very robust Department of Education. It got perfect scores there as well. So how could we not look at illustrative? CPM is one that we know that Lake Bluff feels like it's beneficial. Some of our surrounding districts do too. And it has a lot of the problem-based learning, a lot of discourse about math that our kids in Bridges have at K-5, and also that would blend into the high school. And I believe that our superintendent has some positive experiences with CPM as well. So from there, we decided, let's trial both of these resources and figure out which one of these would be best if we were to move to a new resource. So our math teachers tried it, our specialists. Becky Saxena has been not only teaching herself, but teachers have been coming in and watching her teach. and your intrepid director of teaching and learning tried his hand with a few lessons, and if your kids came home and told you I taught, my apologies. But it gave me the user experience of what's it like to teach a lesson, to prep for it. What's the level of rigor? What were my challenges with it? So I've taught lessons in both illustrative and CPM. We have varying opinions right now from the different grades of the strengths and the areas that maybe they aren't as high on in both of the programs. So right now, I don't feel like we know which direction we're going. We told the teachers beginning of May, we're going to get back together and we're going to figure out which of these is going to be best for us. So we will be meeting with teachers at the very beginning of May, looking through all the pros and cons and making a decision of what we feel would be best for our students, both as a bridge from the K-5 bridges and then moving into the high school. Jeff Summey, who's the instructional director for math at Lake Forest High School, we've been working closely with him as well. He feels confident that either of these options, kids would make a very smooth transition into the high school. I anticipate May 24th, well, even ahead of that, at the Ed Committee meeting, we'll have materials ready at the beginning of May, that I will know which of these we're going to go through. We're going to be going to, and it's, I just met with the whole math department at our Institute Day last Friday, and the question that keeps coming up is, do you really know which one we're doing? Like, do you really have an idea in mind? Because they don't want to waste their time if Jeff McHugh has a preconceived notion. And I keep telling them, absolutely not. Not only could I live with either of these choices, I feel like either of these choices would help us move more closely to getting those student outcomes that we want. I'm not sure which one is best. So this is where it's a combination. I've done my research. I've done my homework. We really need that teacher input and teacher feedback on that. So I honestly don't know which direction we're going, but I will when I come to you on May 24th and ask for an approval on a recommendation.
And I just want to add that while I have experience of one of the two, I'm not advocating for that one in particular. Whatever the teachers are landing on will be certainly get my unanimous support.
Jeff, I have one question. Can you just say more when moving to a new curriculum, the approach around professional development and support for teachers is part of that process, as well as any kind of check-ins early in the next academic year and how we monitor that?
Sure. It's going to be tremendous, and I think that's one of the worries when you move into a new curriculum is just that professional support. Teachers have been teaching CMP now for 7, 8 years. They know the ins and outs. They know what they have to modify. We're looking, starting this summer, should we adopt a new curriculum, of already providing time for the teachers for that collaboration. They're not going to have to write the curriculum, but they are going to have to instructionally plan around it. We also want to look at what are some of the standards that on our IAR testing that we're not hitting, and making sure that we're highlighting those standards in this curriculum. And I anticipate next year at Deer Path, this is going to be continuous professional learning through team time during the day. Both of these have a nice professional learning suite that we don't have with CMP currently. Becky Saxena as the district coach will be in classrooms with teachers supporting them, as will the building coaches. They'll be able to help too, even though that they don't have the depth of content knowledge. So out of everything, I'm not worried about the level of professional learning. I think my bigger concern is making sure teachers have that time to collaborate with one another. I think that's going to be a big benefit from here, because everybody's going to be starting from scratch with a new curriculum, having teams working together, looking at data together. That's going to be, I think, an added benefit to whatever these two resources are. I know that's not professional learning per se, but it's collaboration, and I feel like that, in terms of, along with professional learning, are both going to help teachers during year one, which year one is always hard of a transition.
Other question for Jeff?
Yeah, just two comments, really. First of all, I just want to say thank you. I think this is some of the most important work. I mean, there's a lot on our agenda today, but this, to me, is really at the heart of what we are doing. You saw that our outcomes needed to be different from what they are, and you were so thorough, and the team was so thorough in their approach. So I just want to commend you and everyone who's involved in getting to this result that's hopefully going to get our kids into a better place. And then my second comment is that my son did say that you taught his math class, and they did a good job.
Turn out, cut the feed. He lived to tell the tale. He survived, Dr. McHugh.
I also want to thank you and Becky for diving headfirst into the deep end on this. And I don't know, because you are still investigating and looking into it. Did you get any sense of, from the teachers that with students with IEPs, 504s, if one is more attractive to them or another? And if not, then we should look into that.
So that's a great question. That was on our list in the beginning of what are supports for students who are struggling. So far, now I'm not going to want to speak for the teachers because we haven't had our final debrief. I'll speak from my own perspective. I don't know that one over the other has more built-in resources for students who are struggling, but I do think both of them have structures that will allow for support through our current model of we have learning behavior specialists who push in, support from the math specialists. So I don't feel that either one is necessarily better, but that has been a consideration throughout of how do you differentiate for students who are struggling. And both of them, it would be done a little bit differently because the programs are slightly different, but I feel like both of them lend themselves to that.
Would that lend to maybe offering either a choice, or are we just going to just pick one and that's for everyone?
We'll pick one for everyone just from having that guaranteed and viable curriculum. Same vocabulary. We wouldn't want them to start in 6th and switch. It's hard enough that they'll be going from Bridges to something to the middle school, but we do feel like either of these would be a good bridge for that.
Jeff, with you mentioned the online, like robust, more of that platform is available through these new programs. I know some students use Khan Academy as kind of like a resource to kind of expand on lessons. Do these types of, programs have that resource built into it for the students to kind of continue to work after they've been taught a lesson?
They do. They do. And differently, but yes. I feel like they can go online in class and be doing things, but neither one of these programs, they're just going to be sitting on their iPads for the whole time. I would see it more at home with some practice problems, but looking at this, these are light years from where the resources teachers have at their fingertips right now with CMP. And again, that's not a slam on CMP. It's from an earlier time, and both of these are two of the premier resources that we've found through our resource, and technology is a strength of both.
Any other questions for Dr. McHugh? Seeing none. Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks.
I was just going to say thanks to Jeff, and you can see the quality of work and why I'm so excited that he is taking the role of deputy superintendent alongside me, and I'm grateful for the partnership.
+1, probably many. We will now move to board committee reports, and we'll begin with an education committee report from Suzanne.
So my report just got a lot shorter. You're welcome. The Education Committee met on April 7th, and 2 of our topics were just covered in Jeff's report, so I will not repeat them. We are moving the last Education Committee meeting of the year from May 5th to May 12th. It's been posted and everything, but the committee just finalized that decision at our last meeting. The third topic of our meeting was the K-8 reading review update. And Dr. McHugh, along with Denise Galaziano, visited the committee to share where they are in that process. I just lost my... That review is currently still in phase 1. The team has reviewed student data and determined that the outcomes are not where they should be, and Dr. Montgomery had encouraged the team upon his review of the data to ground themselves in new research and best practices related to the science of reading. This research led to a recommendation that the district take some time to engage in significant professional learning in this area across staff and administrators prior to beginning the process of exploring potential resources that may be needed. Building an understanding of current thinking and instruction based on more recent research is the current focus of this review. Many staff members have volunteered to participate in reading review learning academies currently, while others have chosen to access the reading materials as independent study. There are teachers engaged in this work across all 4 buildings, including special education staff, speech pathologists, psychologists, and administrators, as well as general ed classroom teachers. Learning Academy participants will be expected to share their learning with other staff this spring. There will be summer learning opportunities offered as well. The work is generating lots of positive buzz across the district and excitement. Eventually, content teachers at DPM will be engaged in this professional learning as well, meaning science and social studies teachers. In addition to the ELA staff who are currently engaged in the work, the timeline for the work ahead was shared, and it was noted that word study work, which we talked a lot about last year, has been continuing at DPM and is also driving improvements related to writing and literacy as well. It was also noted in the context of the discussion that while no system-wide changes to resources will be implemented next year, it is highly likely that the professional learning that has already started and will continue through the summer and into the fall will begin to actually impact instruction in our classrooms, even while they're utilizing current resources. So it's not like none of this is going to start happening in classrooms, because what they're learning about is instructional practice, and much of it can be done with the resources that they have, and where the gaps in the resources are will be better understood as more of our staff is grounded in this learning. The committee will next meet on Thursday, April 12th at 12 p.m.
Thank you, Suzanne. Any questions from the board for Suzanne? Seeing none. Alice, can you give us an update on finance and ops?
Hi, Finance and Operations did not meet since our last board meeting. Our next meeting will be in July. The focus right now is on preparing the budget, and just as an FYI, within the board packet tonight, there are examples of potential large expenses that could still be reviewed for the remainder of this fiscal year. Thank you.
Thank you, Alice. Questions for Alice? Seeing none. Rich, do you want to provide an update on policy?
The policy committee has not met, as we are still recovering from the last board meeting with a huge packet, so thank you.
Good luck on your recovery, Rich. We'll move to liaison reports. Suzanne, you want to give an update on True North?
Sure. Sorry. True North met on April 13th, 2022, and I'm going to give a slightly longer than normal report because our recognition at the meeting was for Cherokee and Deer Path Middle School educators at Lake Forest District 67. Unfortunately, due to COVID issues, our meeting had to be via Zoom at True North, so we didn't get the full effect of having the teams come and visit with us live, but they were being recognized for their leadership and commitment to the possibilities of the students they serve. They have been working alongside with some staff from True North to work on equity and access for inclusive schools, providing learners with authentic opportunities and a sense of belonging, honoring and elevating a broad range of learner voices, perspectives, and experiences as valued members of their communities, fully embracing the value of human diversity, fostering attention to human rights and respect for differences, and propelling their communities to reimagine education. We had a brief statement from, I believe it's now Dr. Kate Kavanaugh at the meeting, and so I will share. I forgot to attach the slides and the video for you, so I will share that out after this meeting. But the Cherokee elementary staff who have been involved in this are, and I apologize if I get any of the names wrong, I'm going to do my best. But we had 14 staff members from Cherokee who were recognized and 22 from DPM who have been on these learning teams, working with folks from True North to better serve students, and so I feel like it's really important to recognize that work. Jenna Bynes, Takara Billings, Jenny Bodine, Sue Christensen, Nicole Cooper, Joel Duquette, Lindsay McEachern, I'm sorry, Annette Miller, Mary Gould Moorhead, Jennifer Malloy, Jenny Nassan, Robin Newman, Kelly Pascasi, Jackie Pangilinan, this is my problem, not Amy Pepler, So really, like, I walked in thinking we were recognizing a few people, and I was kind of gobsmacked by the lists and so impressed. And then there was a quote shared that I think is just really impactful. How can we teach everyone to swim when we leave some of our students in the parking lot? We need to do whatever it takes to make sure all kids are in the pool together. And Sam Paulson had shared that that was a question that the teams asked themselves after leaving the 2020 TASH conference in Phoenix. And at Deer Path, the staff literally put the kids first and allowed their individual characteristics to drive the process. These are Sam's words. Always committed to doing what's best for kids, our DPM staff worked to support all students across their various classes, knowing we had like-minded partners from both True North and MCIE standing behind us as us has been absolutely critical to the progress we have made together so far. This is the hard work worth doing if we are truly to become an inclusive school where all students belong and can succeed. And then at Deer Path Middle School, the team included Jessica Amend, Corey Ames, Natalie Bolgren, Susie Bulgioni, Lino Cisternino, Cheryl Decker, Megan Etherton, Mary Finnegan, Nicole Greenlease, Amy Infantone, Kristen Koch, Jennifer Kolar, Nikki Konasek, Amy Kurth, Renee Madsen, Laura McDowell, Krista Moran, Caitlin O'Brien, Laura Paul, Lisa Percival, Rebecca Sear, and Ken Smith. And for those of you who are familiar with these names, you may notice that these are people from specials, these are people from world language, these are people from ELA, these are people who support kids who have IEPs, these are people who support advanced learners. So it's a huge cross-section of our staff who's been participating in this work. So kudos to them, and thank you to True North for recognizing them. Finally, I will share that the True North Cooperative has been working on building some innovations that they provide as services to school districts, and several districts have committed to engaging in some of the new innovations, including support for systematic implementation of SEL, a service called Bridging that helps support schools in successful and sustainable transitions of their students back to their home school after a placement outside of their home school, as well as social emotional learning, professional learning cohorts that are available to staff who would like to take advantage of that learning opportunity. Finally, big news at True North is that the Leadership Council approved Ms. Alyssa Hughes as the cooperative's new Chief Financial Officer starting in July, and she currently is working in the business office and is going to be supported in finishing her CSBO licensure, as well as supported with quite a bit of mentoring around going forward. Our next Leadership Council meeting is May 11th at 7 p.m. I would be happy to answer any questions you have about True North that you saw in the report.
Question for Suzanne? Seeing none. Carl, do you want to give us an update as the legislative liaison?
Yes, thank you. As I normally do, I'll hit the wave tops of some of the more pressing issues and encourage everybody to go into the report. There's a bunch of different items. So say the least, the last month has been pretty busy down in Springfield. They closed out the spring session, and let's touch on a few items here. First is the governor signed the FY 2023 budget, so yay, way to go. House Bill 1167 was signed into law. This is the COVID Administrative Leave and Paycheck Protection Bill that returns all COVID-related sick leave taken during the 2021-2022 school year back to the employees. It's important to note that it's only valid for clarified pandemic crises, so it's really restrictive, actually. That was passed. One bill that has passed both houses, it's on the governor's desk for signature, is Senate Bill 1975, which contains several changes to the Illinois property tax laws. And this bill provides school districts under the Property Tax Extension Limited Law, the PTEL, an incentive to abate property taxes without losing the ability to recapture those lost incremental taxes up to 3 years. So really what this means is school districts, we've been seeking a way to provide a taxpayer relief but really haven't been able to do so, or really haven't been incentivized to do so, because once you take a lower tax rate, you never get it back. So what this does is it provides the school districts an opportunity to average those years over time and be able to recover some of that, as well as provide some relief to the taxpayers. Fourth item I have here is last week, District 115's Board of Education member John Noble organized and held a joint legislative workshop between D65, 67, and 115. This is a great session, and if you weren't able to attend, we'll be able to get you the notes. Was it recorded? I'm not sure if it was recorded or not. I think you said it was. So it's a great thing. Go ahead and review. It's really one of those civics lessons for everybody. It's fantastic. You can learn how a bill is created and how it passes through. And yeah, I know I work for the county, so every day is a civics lesson, but that was a good little highlight session there. And the last item I have on here for you is that IASB and 21 other school boards, they officially formed the Consortium of State School Board Associations, or the CASBA, or COSBA, I don't know how you want to say that. But this follows IASB's vote to leave the National School Boards Association this past November. So they left one in November, and they created a new one just recently. So rock the Casbah, I guess. But other than that, any questions? That's all I have.
Question for Carl?
I just have one comment. I just want everyone to know that, and Carl, your work on the legislative stuff since you've joined this task has been great, so thank you for keeping us all informed. But John Noble, for those of you who don't know, has taken this to another level on behalf of our communities and really is doing phenomenal work on connecting us with our state and national representatives, but importantly for our work, I think, our state representatives, and looking at how we can help support and push towards legislation that will be beneficial to our communities and our students. And in a way that I have not seen since being on the board and even since being in this community. So if you see John, he would be happy to engage with you in a conversation about this work, because he is truly phenomenally passionate about it. But I just wanted to publicly express my gratitude to him for the level to which he's taken this work and the number of connections he's made and the ways in which he's helped all of us and the 3 districts start to align and connect with each other, because we can have a much more powerful impact on what happens in our state if we do this work.
Thank you. Well said, Suzanne. We'll move to an update on the Spirit. Rich, I know you have an update here.
I do, and thank you. Where's my picture? Matt. Oh, sorry. Picture's gone. The Spirit of 67 has an incredibly busy month. Grant Day, April 20th, the Spirit of 67 Foundation awarded nearly 30 educational grants, totaling over $212,000 for the upcoming 22-23 school year. Thanks to the Spirit wants to give thanks to our generous community and nearly 75% of our district families who supported the Spirit of 67. These grants will enrich the education of our students for years to come. Grants were awarded to the language arts, science, social studies, wellness, STEM, world language, and fine arts departments. A few highlights include the creation of an outdoor classroom at Everett, a new ADA-compliant early childhood playground at Sheridan, the expansion and improvement of garden facilities at Cherokee, and DPM Cube and Haskins upgrades, which includes additionally augmented reality and virtual reality equipment. These new grants, along with annual favorites like the Playmakers Laboratory Workshop, visiting authors, visiting scientists, and more, will be enjoyed by District 67 students. For a full list of current past grants, please head to the Spirit of 67 website. And I believe there's a link on our district website for the current grants. May event, the Spirit of 67 invites you to In the Spirit of Style, an evening of fashion and fundraising. The evening will include a professional fashion show with over 50 looks from Neiman Marcus and Lily Alexander. There will be a few raffle items from Rasny Jewelers and Dior Beauty, along with a limited number of silent auction items. The Ladies Night Out event will take place on May 19th at Exmoor Country Club, and tickets are nearly sold out. Approval of the 22-23 Spirit of 67 Foundation Board, where Spirit Board members were nominated and they were approved last week. The 54-person board will be welcoming 16 new members next year. The Spirit of 67 looks forward to finishing this school year strong. The Spirit wishes to acknowledge the countless thank yous and heartfelt appreciation from the district and the community. And to echo Justin and Matt, the board also says thank you. That ends my Spirited report.
Thank you, Rich. Any questions for Rich? Seeing none, we'll move to an update from the APT. Emily?
Thank you. It's hard to believe we're in the home stretch here, guys, but the APT has been incredibly busy as the school year comes to a close. The food drive will be May 16th through the 20th, and each school will have a different good to donate or collect. Cherokee will have instant pasta, mixed veggies, DPM, dry goods, flour, baking powder, baking soda, Everett, peanut butter, jelly and crackers, Sheridan, cereal, granola bars, and sugar. A new event this year, students will have a volunteer opportunity, which will be in person, to help sort the donated food after school at Croya on Friday, May 20th at 3:30 to 5:30. Stay tuned for a volunteer spot to sign up. Plans are underway for Staff Appreciation Week at each of the buildings. We look forward to showing our deep appreciation and gratitude to our amazing staff and teachers for the dedication to our students. The week will kick off on May 2nd and end May 6th. Please stay tuned for sign-up and volunteer opportunities and how you can help. The APT would like to acknowledge the district's participation in celebrating our staff and teachers by hosting coffee bars to start the week. We appreciate the support in this important celebration of all of our amazing staff. New this year, the APT will be sponsoring a fourth grade social for all 3 schools. It will be held at Everett Park on June 2nd from 5 to 6:30. We hope to offer incoming DPM 5th graders and their families a time and space to connect or reconnect as they prepare for the milestone of entering middle school. New parent kindergarten coffees are being held at all buildings for incoming kindergarten parents during the months of April and May. The APT is working with the DPM admin team on activities for incoming 5th graders. Jumpstart to 5th grade, a parent event was hosted in person on April 20th. Buddy Day, where the 4th graders come to Deer Path, will be Monday, May 2nd this year. 8th graders, the 8th grade committee has a wonderful end-of-the-year dance and social planned for May 27th. It will be hosted at Winter Club. Thank you to the 8th grade committee for all the time and effort put forth into graduation efforts. At Sheridan, Sheridan will be bringing back Exploration Day for the end of the year, allowing parents to volunteer, allow different fun sessions for kids to learn more about crafts, cooking, sports, dance, photography, and more. More details to come, but this is going to be held on June 3rd. Cherokee on April 29th, muffins in the morning. On June 1st, ice cream social with the new principal. And the end of the year board, old board, new board celebration, field days, and much more are scheduled at each of the buildings. Please reference the Friday flyer or follow the APT on Facebook, Instagram for more information. And last but not least, thank yous. Much gratitude to the Spirit of 67 for the amazing APT grants that were awarded this month. We appreciate their financial support as it allows us to plan and execute many building level programs in activities such as visiting scientists, fine arts, visiting authors, SEL, speaker series, and more. We truly appreciate your partnership. And the APT would like to acknowledge and thank you, Laura Montgomery, our LFEA APT liaison, for all of the work she has done in conjunction with the APT over years. We wish her nothing but the best as she retires from teaching at the end of the year. Thank you so much, Laura. You will be missed. Last but not least is just upcoming meetings. The 2022-2023 school year, the APT meetings are typically on the 2nd Thursday of the month. As a calendar is set, I will certainly update everyone. But thank you.
Thank you, Emily. Any questions for Emily? And thank you, APT and Spirit, especially for everything that you guys are doing this time of year. We'll now move to our action items for the evening. May I have a motion to approve the 2022-2023 board meeting calendar?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Are there any questions from the board on this action item?
And I'm wondering, that seems like a hard day for parents who might want to watch, for school administrators who are getting ready for school. And I know it's always tricky to find a date, but I was just going to ask about that.
Matt? Jeff?
Emily, sorry, Annie, I might be able to speak to that a little bit. Because we do present the budget in August and September, we have to ensure that there's 30 days minimally between the two meetings. So you could not go to the next week because we wouldn't have 30 days between. You could go earlier, but that might be some insight on why that date was picked.
And I know earlier than that would be tough for schedules. Okay.
We could also move it, like, this is not set in stone, we could move it to Monday if you think, whatever the board decides.
No, it's a good question and clarification. Any other questions?
Can we adjust later?
We can absolutely adjust,
Fantastic.
provided we're not within the 48-hour window of posting, but yes.
To move a meeting date, it's a longer window than that, but yes, we have plenty of time between now and when that happens to reconsider and noodle about it further.
All right. Are we ready to vote? May I have a roll call vote, please, Mary Beth?
Mr. Chun?
Aye.
Mr. England?
Aye.
Mrs. Levert?
Aye.
Mrs. Sands?
Aye.
Mr. Carrar?
Aye.
Ms. Helms?
Aye.
Ms. Bernal?
Aye.
Carries.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the Latin resource adoption?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Any additional questions from the board on this action item? Seeing none, may I have a roll call vote, please, Mary Beth?
Ms. Helms?
Aye.
Ms. Bernal?
Aye.
Mr. Carrar?
Aye.
Ms. Helms? Oh, I'm sorry. She's got you in here twice. Mr. Chun?
Aye.
Mrs. Sands?
Aye.
Mr. England?
Aye.
I think you forgot me.
I'm sorry, Mrs.
That's
Levert.
okay. Aye.
May I have a motion to approve the bank signature?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Any questions on this action item? May I have a roll call vote, please, Mary Beth?
Mr. England?
Aye.
Mrs. Levert?
Aye.
Mrs. Sands?
Aye.
Ms. Helms? Mr. Carrar?
Aye.
Mr. Chun?
Aye.
Ms. Bernal?
Aye.
Motion carries.
May I have a motion to approve the landscaping contract renewal?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Any additional questions on this item?
I have a question, please. Did we go out to bid?
We did not go out to bid this round. We have bid it before. Actually, we've done it and received 0 bids before. It's actually one that's very hard in a particular market to sometimes get people to bid on or even provide a proposal.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Actually, you can see in there, Alice, it was bid in April of 2019.
So we're in a third year or the fourth year?
I think this would be the 4th.
This is the fourth year. Okay, so you're just in the last year of the contract, right? Okay. And it's a 5.5% increase?
Any other questions? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Mrs. Bernal?
Aye.
Mr. England?
Aye.
Mr. Chun?
Aye.
Mr. Carrar?
Aye.
Mrs. Sands?
Aye.
Ms. Helms? Mrs. Levert?
Aye.
Motion carries.
May I have a motion to approve the Quest contract renewal?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Are there any questions on this action item?
I do have one question. So the survey that we did for the food services, they have any input at all on the renewal of this contract?
It will have more impact on the $10,000 possible performance incentive, which is related to the KPIs that are outlined in that last paragraph. So our hope is through that food service review, we would identify either standards or targets of things that we can measure that towards.
Not a question, just a comment. I wanted to thank you for having that structure in the contract. I think it's great to have a performance-based incentive as part of this one. May I have a roll call vote, please, Mary Beth?
Mrs. Sands?
Aye.
Mrs. Laverde?
Aye.
Mr. Anglin?
Aye.
Mr. Carrar?
Aye.
Mrs. Bernal?
Aye.
Ms. Helms? Mr. Chen?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the Olson contract, the Olson Transportation Contract renewal? May I have a second?
Second.
Are there any questions on this action item? Seeing none, may I have a roll call vote, please, Mary Beth?
Mrs. Laverde?
Aye.
Mrs. Bernhal?
Aye.
Mrs. Sands?
Aye.
Ms. Helms?
Aye.
Mr. Carrar?
Aye.
Mr. Chen?
Aye.
Mr. Anglin?
Aye.
Motion carries.
May I have a motion to approve Perkins and Will Professional Services proposal for the Sheridan Early Childhood Playground?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
One clarification, then I'll open up to any questions from board members. This is for investments that the district would need to make to be ready for the Spirit grant that was awarded. So this is preparation work that we need to do to prepare for the new equipment. Are there any questions from the board on this one? Seeing none, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Carrar?
Aye.
Mrs. Bernhal?
Aye.
Mr. Chen?
Aye.
Mr. Anglin?
Aye.
Mrs. Laverde?
Aye.
Ms. Helms? Mrs. Sands?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the Perkins and Will Professional Services proposal for the Cherokee ADA addition?
So moved.
I have a second. Do you need to? Hold on. Yep.
So what I would like to, so in that proposal, there are actually 3 options. So actually, I would like to make a motion that we move forward with option 3 as presented in the proposal, which is a component A base bid and components B and C designed as add-on alternates.
Is someone so moved, but we
Second.
need a second of,
Of the motion to approve option 3 in the proposal.
Second.
thank you, Rich. Are there any questions or comments on this action item from the board?
I actually have one. So, sorry. So, if I'm in favor of the ADA but not option 3, by casting a negative vote, I'm actually casting a vote against what I'm for because ADA is now attached to more.
Which is fine. To explain to the public who are listening, this proposal, there were 3 options. One was to just do some ADA and changing room work at Cherokee, and this is just for the design work. This is not a commitment to move forward with the actual work because there's a bidding process and all that comes with that. So this action item tonight is about commencing with design work. The administration also looked into if we are moving forward with a construction project to address the ADA issue as well as this changing room issue, we have an opportunity to potentially build a second floor space above that, which could be used for a variety of purposes, as well as address the surrounding outdoor areas to create an outdoor learning space. And so option 3, which is what the motion includes, would be to do design work for all 3 of those components, but in a way that gives the board the option, once we get into the bidding process, we can accept 1 or 2 or 3 of the components instead of forcing our hand to say, once it's designed as one proposal, we can either act on the one proposal or not. The one that's being proposed in this motion is to give us the design work in completion for all 3 components, but as components instead of as one project.
And Alice, I think if someone were to vote no, I think if you're giving a qualifier, because I know some people are very much in support of the ADA and the ramp and the changing room, but not interested in exploring additional things, I think as you vote no, if you give that qualifier, that certainly offers explanation to the audience that you are not, or anyone is not in favor or is in favor of some of those core components of the process.
Thank you. Also, just clarification, the ADA estimated design cost is about $45,000, but option 3 with the additional potential science lab / outdoor / whatever the final decision is for that space, that cost to design with the ADA and everything included is over $232,000 design.
Correct.
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment about my vote. So I'm very supportive, obviously, of doing the design work now for the ADA component of this project because that needs to get done now. My concern about the proposed motion is that it commits us today to an incremental $190,000 approximately worth of design spend that we could easily decide to do next month, I believe, without any implications on the project. And since we don't know as a board, since we haven't been able to deliberate and get engagement on that topic, whether we want to do those incremental design services, I don't understand as one board member why we would choose at this point when we're not forced to commit ourselves to an incremental $190,000 spend that may just be shelfware for the district. So for that reason, I'm going to be voting no this evening, but Matt, I just want to check my understanding if my explanation or understanding of this issue is correct.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
So I would like to share that my support for option 3 is that this was the recommendation from our administrative team after looking at all of this more closely, and so I am in support of us exploring these things. I do believe there's a lot of potential future to these plans. I don't believe that they will end up sitting on a shelf, and so that's why I'm in support of going ahead and doing this evening.
Make a comment if I could. I'm also supportive of option 3, going with the base bid and the other components as was described by Suzanne. It provides us options in the future, and we do not have to go forward with the other major construction portion of this, but it satisfies the AD component, which is critical. And actually, I found the schematic design that was presented to us is a rather unique way of getting there as opposed to going to mechanical systems of an elevator. So I think this is a cost, it minimizes the cost to us as a district and provides us options in the future to expand the educational abilities of putting in STEM or whatever else. And with the time frame of how design takes and bidding takes, that this just make the commitment now, and that we're not locked into it in the future to have to build it. It could be a design on the shelf that we could go ahead and, if it's not this board, maybe the next board that takes a look at it to actually award the major construction portion of it. But I'm supportive of option 3 and to do the full design.
Thank you, Carl. Any other questions or comments on this action item? Mary Beth, may I have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Chun?
Aye.
Mr. England?
Nay.
Mrs. Sands?
Aye.
Ms. Helms? Aye. Mr. Carrar?
Aye.
Ms. Bernhal?
Aye.
Mrs. Levert?
Nay.
Motion carried.
Thank you, Mary Beth. May I have a motion to approve the Director of Teaching and Learning contract?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Carl. Before moving to a roll call vote or any questions, Jeff, do you want to give a little bit of a briefing on the candidate for the Director of Teaching and Learning position?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So Vale Kieser, who is here, is the candidate, the finalist we're going to be recommending to you tonight. Vale is student first. That's shown through every phase of the interview, probably the single most important quality in an educator, and that's really shown through. She's collaborative. She's results oriented. She spent her career in Killdeer. You are no stranger to a high performing district. She brings a background in professional learning communities, in professional learning and staff development, You're bringing so much to the table in one of the interviews, and it was a very rigorous interview process, by the way. She left the room, and one teacher turned to another and said, "Somebody lock the door and don't let her leave." We didn't do that. We did let her leave, and we're glad that she came back tonight so that we can recommend Ms. Vale Keyser as our new Director of Teaching and Learning. We really think you're the perfect person to take us to new heights in teaching and learning in District 67.
My hope after the vote and after the meeting, you would take a moment and just introduce yourself. And I thank you for sitting through this meeting together.
Are there any questions from the board on this action item? Mayor Beth, may we have a roll call vote, please?
Ms. Barnall?
Aye.
Mrs. Sands?
Aye.
Ms. Helms? Mr. Chun?
Aye.
Mrs. Levert?
Aye.
Mr. Carrar?
Aye.
Mr. England?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And congratulations, Vale. Welcome. May I have a motion to approve the amended deputy superintendent contract?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Are there any questions on this action item? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Ms. Helms? Mr. England?
Aye.
Mrs. Levert?
Aye.
Mrs. Sands?
Aye.
Mrs. Bernal?
Aye.
Mr. Chun?
Aye.
Mr. Carrar?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the human resources report as presented? May I have a second?
Second.
Are there any questions on the HR report this month?
I have a question, please, Dr. McHugh. I noticed that there is a coach for Cherokee in the HR report, but not the other two elementary districts. Can you explain that?
Sure. The coach for Cherokee is a new hire. The coaches at the other two buildings were currently internal District 67 staff members who slid into those positions. But Everett and Sheridan will still have a coach.
Thank you.
Any other questions on the HR report? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Mrs. Sands?
Aye.
Mr. Chun?
Aye.
Mr. England?
Aye.
Ms. Helms? Mr. Carrar?
Aye.
Mrs. Bernhal?
Aye.
Mrs. Levert?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. We'll now move to our consent agenda. As a reminder, any item may be removed from the consent agenda at the request of a board member. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items, including minutes of a regular meeting and workshop on March 15th, 2022, minutes of an executive session on March 15th, 2022, minutes of a joint special meeting on April 18th, 2022, minutes of an executive session on April 18th, 2022, and disposal of audio recordings from September 26, 2017 to March 17th, 2020. May I have a second?
Second.
Any questions? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Mrs. Levert?
Aye.
Ms. Helms? Mrs. Sands?
Aye.
Mr. Carrar?
Aye.
Mr. Chun?
Aye.
Mr. England?
Aye.
Mrs. Bernal?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. We'll now move to Freedom of Information Act requests. There are several this month. Charles Bynum, the status is in progress. Kristen Valali, the status is also in progress. Jonathan Fagg, the status is complete. Haven Platkow, status is complete. And Brian Gramza, the status is complete. We will now move to our second opportunity for public participation and comment this evening. As a reminder, this can be about any topic that folks would like to address the board about. I will not reiterate the board policy guidelines regarding public comment that I mentioned before, but they still apply. So at this point, are there any members of the public who would like to address the board? Seeing none, we will move to announcements. On Tuesday, May 3rd, 2022, will be the Portrait of a Graduate Design Team meeting number 4 at 8 a.m. on Lake Forest High School East Campus. Tuesday, May 24th, 2022 is our next District 67 Board of Education meeting right here at 7 p.m. in the West Campus boardroom. And on Tuesday, May 31st, 2022 is 8th grade graduation at 5 p.m. here at West Campus. With that, may I have a motion to adjourn the City of Lake Forest School District 67 board meeting for April 26, 2022?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
May I have a voice vote, please? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Our meeting is adjourned.